to way that our modern education system is misusing time is it is absolutely destroying any kind of efficiency. So, quick story. I heard this term called that was "hurry up and wait" when I was in the Army, and it's a little snarky, but it is true. It encapsulates a core part of the military service culture where you have these long periods of low activity and even in boredom, and then you have these periodic bursts of just incredibly high intensity situations. So it sucks. I didn't like it. Nobody appreciates wasting their time. So it's hard when you're in that low activity phase. Contrary to Hollywood portrayals, Army efficiency does not come from some kind of sadistic general that doesn't care about his troops. That is not even close to reality. If you want to understand, though, it has to do, if you understand the culture, you have to understand the incentives. So the charge of the military is to execute its mission to defend the nation. And with that, the thing it needs to do, the key metric is readiness. Do you have enough people? Have they been trained? Do you have the right supplies? Do you have enough equipment? And by the way, what condition is that equipment in? These are all natural areas of focus. So Army's leaders, in my example, may care deeply about their personnel. And the idea of having, or the fact that you have down periods filled with boredom, they may not want to have it, but it's not a mission critical thing to try to fix. The number one mission is to be ready to carry out to defend the nation. So let's follow the incentives a little bit more. So a for-profit organization also actively will focus on things, and it will focus on not having wasted time. But it's not because they're worried about employees being bored. It's not altruism. This comes from competition. This comes from a competitive necessity. So companies will go to great lengths to reduce all forms of waste. It can be product waste, manufacturing waste, logistical time, support operations. The incentive is clear. The more efficient you are, the more competitive and profitable you are. So business school cases will highlight that this lesson that fractions of a percent improvement can scale to mean millions in savings and profit. So we've come a long way since Henry Ford demonstrated the benefits of the assembly line. The assembly line. Today we have Six Sigma, we have 5S, we have lean manufacturing, we have Kaizen and Kanban. We have so many different types of continuous improvement programs. They're basically ubiquitous. And the reason is a slight competitive advantage, being efficient, is existential. It can be the difference between your company being profitable or not. So let's take these examples, the military and the corporate examples, go back to this education system and how our education system treats time and efficiency. It treats time and efficiency the same way to match its purpose. And so let's look at the incentives and what does it measure? But it doesn't measure readiness. It doesn't measure profit. It's bureaucracy. Our central education system tracks things like grades, test scores, and above all else, the biggest metric is the budget. What is the dollar per spend student? It's not tracking, let alone reporting, how well students are using their time. So in the military, like I said, you may care about your soldiers' time. It's not mission critical. Well, teachers and administrators may care about their kids' time. It's not mission critical to those other metrics. So there are many, if you look at a school day, let's just take a school day here to wrap this up. There are many unproductive times between the start and the end of school day for a typical K through 12 student. So in this thought exercise, I'm going to call class time productive time. We'll get into that in a minute, but let's, just for the sake of this, let's call class time productive time. And anything between classes is buffer time that if you could cut it out, it would not impact learning. And there are three big categories here to think about. Commute time, you have your filler periods, and you have class transitions. So travel time to and from school, if you're young, you're going to be on a bus, so you're going to go wait, and then you're going to have maybe a half hour, 20-minute, 30-minute drive, depending on where you live. So round trip, if you look at all this time for commuting, your walk times, wait times, drive times, et cetera, you're looking at up to 90 minutes a day just for commuting. And that's 5 days a week, right? So the next one, let's look at homerooms. If you get to school, you get to your locker, then you got to go to homeroom where some adult is going to verify that you're really there. So another 15 to 30 minutes of your day is spent unrelated to education just to show that you're there, just to show your face. Study halls are also very common, especially when you get to high schools. The name to me is very misleading based on my personal experience. I went to public school. There's very little productive studying occurring in a study hall. So look at study halls and you're adding another hour or more minimum of unproductive time, of these filler periods. And I'm not even talking about lunch hour, just skipping that, just talking about homerooms and study halls. So the third category here is the transition times. Collectively, students probably spend another hour between classes and their lockers. So, so let's look at transition times. They further fragment the day. A student collectively probably spends an hour walking between classes and lockers. I don't have a real-time student efficiency KPI, a key performance indicator, so we're just going to do some napkin math. So I put this all together here. You start classes by 8 and you end by 3. So including 90 minutes of commuting that we talked about a couple minutes ago, that's an 8.5-hour school day. Productive time, being generous again, saying class time equals productive learning time. If you have 6 classes of 45 to 60 minutes each, that is about 4.5 to 6 hours per day. So if you look at that, call it 4.5, 6 hours a day out of 8.5 hours, and you're somewhere around the actual math is between 50 and 70% of your time as a student is actually in the class, quote unquote, being efficient. So the corollary of that is the waste. That means that students are spending 30 to 50% of their time somewhere other than the classroom. And if you contrast this with homeschools and micro school programs, the parents who homeschool and microschool are always trying to eliminate time. If you're commuting, you're listening to something. First of all, your class time is as soon as you wake up. So there's no commute time in that case. You don't have study halls, you don't have transition times, and that frees kids up. That frees their time up for things like additional study, life experience, and free play, which is a whole separate topic we're not even going to consider today, the benefits of that. All right, that wraps up number 2.